Hello ladies and gentlemen, Spirit of the Law here. It's been a couple of months and these are kind of fun, so let's have another answering comments video. The first very common question I get is, will I play Star Wars Battlegrounds, Age of Empires 3, or Age of Mythology, since they're all quite similar to Age of Empires 2. I'm not really planning on anything like that, to be honest, and maybe I could do a one-off sort of review of something, but I can't really see anything more than that. Number 2, where's the next Road to 1800 game? Sometime in the future, I do want to sit down and do a bunch of them over a couple of days, since I get kind of rusty when I only do one per week, and it's not really the best way to improve. So I'll record a ton of them in a short period of time, and then just regularly commentate and post a new one. That's what I should have done from the start, but I didn't think of it until after those first two were already up. I also want to start doing some different maps with it, and so they aren't all 1 vs 1 Arabia, and maybe get some team games and some nomad maps in there just to mix it up. Another question that was asked a few times is whether I'll be doing any more AI vs AI games, and I was a little surprised that people were into that, but now that I know that, I might have to do more in the future. I think a tournament of 1 vs 1 hardest AIs could actually be a lot of fun, and I have a potential tournament set up already that pits all of the civilizations against each other. If I do it 1 vs 1 style with all of the expansion civilizations, it'd be like 26 or 27 games, which is kind of intense, but it's just something I'm keeping in the back of my mind for now, and this would probably also be the kind of thing where I record it all at once to make sure I actually finish it, and then commentate them and release them once a week, or on a more regular sort of schedule like that. A question I got in the Boar luring trick video is, what about Goths? Now, as people have pointed out, Goths have a +5 attack bonus against Boar, which means that the Boar comes in with 59 instead of 69 health, so it would die if you did the normally safe 12 town center arrows. You could shoot the Boar once with the town center, but it makes more sense not to risk the town center strategy if you're playing as the Goths, since it's not going to save you very much time or villager health. So thanks to those people for pointing that out. There are lots of questions on the Scorpion video, and I'll do a few from there. First of all, it's true I didn't mention rams, so let's talk about them quickly. First of all, Scorpions do have a bit of bonus damage, it seems, against rams, and they should do 1 damage against any type of ram, but we see that they tend to do a bit more than that. That sounds pretty good, and it does make them much more effective than regular archers, who only do 1 damage to any type of ram. On the flip side though, rams do bonus damage against scorpions as well, like a lot of bonus damage, with battering rams apparently doing 40 extra damage, and capped rams and siege rams being difficult to measure since they take out heavy scorpions in 1 attack. Now here's why I didn't include them in the Scorpion video though. Rams don't auto-engage, so it's a little strange to make them as a counter to scorpions, since you have to manually target each scorpion yourself, which the AI doesn't do, and it just turns into a mess where we can't really interpret it in the context of the test that I was using. Of course, I could switch it around and use the rams myself, and they'll do pretty well, as long as the opponent doesn't have any melee units. It takes a lot of management, but theoretically a pure ram army does stack up nicely against a pure scorpion army. The way I'd picture that working in a more realistic setting is with rams out in front, maybe a bit of micromanagement with units in behind doing the real work. I also ignored trebuchets in the test, but they only take 1 shot to kill scorpions and take 9 damage when packed and 2 damage when unpacked, so the potential is certainly there as a counter. It's the same thing as the rams though, with no auto engagement, but in some circumstances it's absolutely worth using, especially as Japanese with great trebuchets and a lot of infantry, where your opponent might be tempted to go scorpions against you. It just doesn't really work out in this particular test the way I was measuring it. One unit I did actually forget to do though was the throwing axemen, and that one was my bad. I ran that one and they held their own and ended up about average compared to the other units, largely I think because they do melee damage, but again as ranged units they don't seem like an ideal choice. That also reminds me that people were asking about the way that AI used ranged units in the test, and whether they would do better if they weren't attacking the scorpions from their maximum range, which the AI tends to do. I ran the test with hand cannoneers though, and they did notably better attacking from their longest range rather than trying to move in and get everyone firing at once. I think what's happening is it sounds great to have a lot of your units attacking up close if you can get into that situation, but you also end up taking extra hits as you move in, and I'm not really seeing better performance the way that I'm doing it anyway. I think just archery units in general are a bad idea, regardless of how you're going to be using them, and you should be taking advantage of the 0 melee armor and minimum range of scorpions if possible. Another comment I get sometimes is people asking why is there no intro in the top 10 videos and some other different ones. If you don't see the intro, don't panic. Top 10 videos just tend to bring in a different crowd, and depending on the video, I also sometimes decide it's one that I just want to jump into, kind of like this video. I'm also moving away from viewer-submitted intros, and you may notice I haven't done one of those in a long time. Maybe for some kind of mini-series we could do a contest for its intro, and you guys could vote on some user-submitted ones. I'm just throwing ideas around at the moment for that, and I'd give you guys a heads up on that, so there's no need to start making any entries right now. Now, this one's a bit of a mystery. Someone pointed out in the scorpion video that in one clip, the scorpions appeared to cut down some trees. Now that isn't supposed to be possible as far as I know. I played around with it and had scorpions firing from a variety of distances into some trees, and I couldn't get any cut trees until I started deleting scorpions. It turns out that if a scorpion dies after it fires its shot, the bolt cuts any trees that it comes across, similar to what happens after a lumberjack cuts them down. Even more than that, it removes old stone heads for some reason. I have no idea what's going on here, but there's an interesting bug for you. I also want to give a shout out to fellow Age of Empires YouTuber and streamer Membrio, who left a very nice and supportive comment. He does pro level gameplay sorts of videos from what I've seen, and he's got a really fun atmosphere in his videos, so definitely check out his videos as well. While I'm doing shoutouts, I also want to give a shout out to Mary Celeste and others who say that they watch the channel even though they don't play Age of Empires. That's probably the biggest compliment that you can give a channel like this one, so a big thanks to all of you, as well as everybody else who supports the channel and enjoys the videos. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.